All right, thank you everybody for joining me. So tonight we're actually going to do, so actually I'll do my introductions first. So Kelley, the plant-based kitchenista, if you haven't met me before, we do these shows about every 2 weeks. Sometimes they're sometimes back to back a little bit. We had one last week just because of my work schedule and stuff. Sometimes I go out of town or something like that. So I have to kind of put them together to try to get as many classes in it as I can. So we have next, so 2 weeks from now, give or take and stuff, I'll be on Chef AJ's show. So we'll be doing some Cookabon and a couple other different really fun things. So it's after the holidays, of course, which is Easter coming up. So happy Easter, everybody. So we'll be doing that. And then I'll also be on the CNS Kitchen, which is going to come up again, which is like Dale Schroep and everybody else. That comes up again in July. So they do that like once every quarter, sometimes a little bit longer than a quarter. But stay tuned always because we always have shows going and stuff. We've got April set. I'm working on May right now. So get all those recipes up and that way you can register ahead of time and kind of have them planned. So tonight we're going to make stuffed potato cakes, which is, it's all about if you follow like Dr. McDougall, Dr. Neil Barnard, everybody else that's out there, potatoes are good for you. So, doing something that's like a kind of a stuffed I like anything stuffed, dipped, that type of thing, I think is really good. So we're going to do that. And we're going to show you a cheese sauce because you can either put a cheese sauce in it. If you have one of your favorites, you can always use your own favorite cheese sauce, or you can just leave the cheese sauce off. But we're going to do a cheese sauce because it's, hey, it's fun, right? And then we're going to do some, it's garlic herb roast potatoes, but it also has carrots and zucchini in it. So we're have like, some potatoes and vegetables and starches and all those good things. So can't beat it. So what I'll do is I'll let Jerry introduce himself really quick, and then we will get started because we got some things we got to get in the oven. And if you see me look over here, it's just because the computer's over there. So making sure if anybody wants in.
Yep. Welcome, everyone. Jerry Casados, plant-based nutritionist. We've been plant-based now 17 years, hard to believe, in this month. I did it for health reasons of my own, heart disease developing, and went and saw Dr. John McDougall to help me through that transition. Got me off all the meds and 35 pounds lighter. So I'm grateful for him and his whole family, actually. But anyway, here to just eat.
Eat. Yes.
And if you have any questions about nutrition, I'll be glad to answer too. So just throw it in the chat window, it'll be good. Yeah. So enjoy. Thanks.
Yeah, he's definitely all about the eating. Eats a lot. We have one of our neighbors, she's 81, and she's like, I don't know how he eats what he eats. I mean, he's like four people sometimes, which, hey, it's okay though. It's a good thing because then I don't have leftovers. You're welcome, Mona. I'm happy to do the classes. All right. So, like I said, we got some things we got to put together. So, we are plant-based, whole foods, no oil. So, you weren't going to see any oil that we do. If we saute, it's vegetable broth or stock, water, and then we'll use sometimes white wine and stuff with like a tomato sauce or something like that. So, and then we also don't do any salt. So, I always say like sea salt and black pepper optional. We do black pepper, of course. That's great. But the salt and stuff we do because it's it's about food addictions and it's also about health. Some people can't do salt because of the heart disease and things, but a lot of it's food addiction because if you eat something that's like really salty or something that's really sweet, it seems like the exact same time the next day you're craving it. So salt and sugar tend to make you eat more, and maybe sometimes I think sometimes we enjoy it more, but you definitely I'll say for me for salt, but you definitely eat a lot more. So it's kind of one of those things to watch. So we just don't do any salt here. I have salt on the table in case somebody would like some salt. So that's me, but Jerry doesn't. So we are going to get, so we've already got the potatoes because when you're doing stuffed potato cakes, you need to be able to have your potatoes and they need to be cool. So these are just room temperature. So I did them about an hour ago. You could do them the next, a day before, a couple days before, and then just have them in the refrigerator. So these are just regular russet potatoes. I took off the peelings because the peelings and stuff right now, I've noticed a lot of potatoes are really kind of tough. But with this and stuff, because you're making a really nice potato cake, you don't want the peelings on it. But you can take the peelings if you want, put some vegetable broth, put them in the oven, and do them almost like potato skins type of thing. So no waste if you don't want to do that. So those are good. So I'm going to get some things going for here for the filling. So we are going to, if you're following along, we've got 3 cups of mushrooms. You can either decide because the rest of our vegetables, so like zucchini and red bell peppers are chopped up. and they're small diced, but I left the mushrooms whole. One reason it's just because they just kind of, they look pretty and stuff when you cut open the potato cake. But it also at the same time is I'm not a mushroom fan. So if they're ground up and things, I'm good with it. But as far as just like eating them, so I'll be able to see them and pull them out and then I'll give them to somebody else to eat. So that's my big reason why. So let's get a little bit of vegetable broth going. Vegetable stock, vegetable broth, water, doesn't matter, whatever you want to saute with. Don't do a lot just because you've got mushrooms and you want to kind of play with it a little bit because your mushrooms actually let water go. So sometimes if you put too much vegetable broth or stock, then things get really soupy. So these are just regular baby bellas, whatever you like, whatever's on sale. Could be button mushrooms, anything that's out there. Do your favorite mushrooms. You could also mix up 2 or 3 different mushrooms if you wanted to do that too, or something pretty. Here's my spoon. I'm going to let those saute just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the potatoes and everything else ready. So knowing that it was a short, it's an hour class, normally I would just put the vegetables in the oven for the garlic herb roasted potatoes. But since I know that I want to make sure you guys can see them and they get cooked and things, I just did a par steam on them. So all I did was I took the potatoes, the baby potatoes and the carrots and did a par steam. And then I just let them cool. So that way they actually are going to they'll roast up a lot faster. And then I just have to add the zucchini. So if we're doing this, so we've got the oven going. So we're going to put the potatoes. So cute little baby potatoes, real popular right now. You could do just the regular, these are just yellow. But if you want to do something different, you could do the little fingerling. You could do the red ones, whatever you want. It's completely up to you. You could actually add some of the purple ones in, which is really pretty. We tend to like the yellow ones, so something simple. Okay, so we got that in there. And then we're going to do the carrots. Same thing, we just par steamed them. You could do carrot slices. You could do carrots, rounds, whatever you like to do and whatever you think is pretty. So I kind of did it more like the half rounds on this. And then I kept the potatoes whole. And then the zucchini, which I'll do here in a few minutes, I just did those half rounds also. Because the zucchinis right now, instead of being the little small ones, are big, which are really nice. So we'll stir. All right, so we got this together. So we've got about 2.5 tablespoons of vegetable broth. If you don't have broth or don't want to open up one, just go ahead and use water. Just want enough to where you're actually making everything nice and moist, and that way all the spices and stuff are going to stick to everything. So just kind of give it a quick little toss. Like that. Then we're going to add the different spices. Let me grab those. And then I'll just grab the zucchini. So you can see the zucchini. That's a half round, so big zucchinis this time, which is really nice. Keep those off to the side. All right, so we've got two different spices. So you got thyme. So if you have fresh thyme, same thing, tablespoon that you're going to add, and you're just going to strip it off the stem and then just put that in there. I didn't have the fresh this time, so dried. So same thing, tablespoon. I'm using, yes. So we are using organic veggies. So these all actually the ones that I'm doing here today, all came from Whole Foods. So all organic, and all like certified organic, anything that, this thing that we're doing is non-GMO. So the mushrooms are not as moist as they usually are. So let's just a little bit, just keep them going. Okay, so I got the thyme in there. Rosemary, love rosemary, especially with roasted potatoes and carrots or any other type of roasted type of root vegetables. Just add that in there. Same thing, you could do it fresh or dried. Another spoon. The nice thing about it too is if you've got the time and stuff, roasted vegetables and letting them just roast and just watching them in the oven is really, really good. But at the same time, if you want to keep them really moist, sometimes par steaming them a little bit just ahead of time keeps them where the outsides of your potatoes and stuff are gonna get really crispy, but then your insides are really soft, which is great. All right, so we're gonna add this to the steam. And this is one of those recipes too that, it's just got, I'm giving you kind of the base of the recipe. So let's say that, once you're working with it, this out of the way, once you're working with this, and you're like, I have broccoli in there that I need to do something with. I have yellow squash that I need to do something with. Add it in. Nothing better than just a whole bunch of roasted vegetables, especially Easter coming up. All right, so there they go. I'm going to put them in the oven and let them start roasting. Go. All right, mushrooms looking good. All right, so we got the mushrooms in. So we're gonna add the rest of the veggies. So we've got red bell peppers diced. You could use the sweet little mini bell peppers. You could use the different colors. So if you wanted to do like green, yellow, orange, red, that would be really pretty. You could do that. And this is another one of those recipes that I would say is a base recipe. So let's just say that you really like the potato cakes and you're like, no, but I don't really feel like having them just be the kind of more of an Italian type of flavor with the cheese sauce. You could actually make a Mediterranean. You could do a Mexican potato cake with corn and all kinds of different things in it. So think about it as make your potato cakes, but add whatever filling that you would like. Like a Mexican one with cheese sauce, really good. If you do like a jalapenos cheese sauce, would be really good. All right, onions. Let's get those in there. That's just regular white diced onions. You could do, you could do red, yellow, whatever you have in the fridge. It doesn't matter. And get this all cooking up. To add the diced zucchini. Same thing, put in yellow squash if you've got that. Cauliflower would be like a rice cauliflower would be really good. Smells really good. The onions are starting to cook. All right, got everything in there. Then we're gonna, so this is where you could actually season it with sea salt and black pepper. So I'll just do a little bit of black pepper. Now I'm going to add the spice mix, let it go. So we've got, if you look real quick and see exactly how much, 2 cloves of garlic, all minced. So we'll add that in, let that cook. It's great for sauteing. If you don't like garlic or allergic to garlic, leave it out. Don't have to, just a nice flavor. Just a quick mix. All right, and then we've got, so I'll do the spice blend. So we got a teaspoon of Italian spice blend. So if you don't have like an Italian spice blend, just because it's maybe something that you haven't bought, it's oregano, thyme, sage, and rosemary. So it's just all those different flavors together that you can add. And so you would just do if you needed a teaspoon of it, you just do a pinch of each one of those and stuff to put it together. But otherwise, like savory spice, most of the other shops and stuff carry an Italian spice blend. All right, okay. So yeah, so the potatoes and stuff. So I'm kind of mixing, sorry, I'm kind of going a little bit different recipes. So what I did is I've got the potatoes and stuff, which are the 2 pounds potatoes. Those are going to be for the potato cakes. Those are, I'm going to mix the flour in and the cornstarch. So I'll make that here in just a second. So those are all ready to go. And then I made a side dish, which was the garlic roasted potatoes with carrots and zucchini. So those are the things that I just put in the oven, and those are the baby potatoes. So sorry to be confusing and kind of switching back and forth, but just needed to get some things in the oven and make sure everything's ready at the end of the class. Great question though. All right, so other spices, teaspoon of onion powder, teaspoon of garlic powder. I have them mixed together. So if you think about this, this is a starch heavy type of food or meal. Smells really good. Smell the garlic and the onions. And then just for a little bit of oomph, I guess is the way to put it. I've got basically a half a teaspoon of the red pepper flakes. That's completely optional. So if you don't like anything that has any spice, just leave it out. But we like spice here, so I'm going to add in the red pepper flakes. We use red pepper flakes on like, spaghetti and pretty much everything. We like it. All right, I'm gonna let this kind of just cook up. And as you can see, look how pretty it is already. It's got the greens and the reds and the whites and the mushrooms. And the mushrooms, even though they were larger, have actually shrunk down quite a bit. Okay, so let that go. All right, before I do did I add in? So I added in the garlic. Okay, so this is going to be for the garlic herbs. That's that. All right, so the potatoes. These are the 2 pounds of regular russet potatoes. So they just been boiled up and stuff in the water, cooled down because you don't want them hot because you want to be able to handle them and make these cute little potato balls. So if you got a masher, great. If you don't have a masher, spoon works, fork works. And I think I'm going to grab a larger bowl. I don't end up with potatoes all over the counter. These were definitely hard. I had, once they were sitting on the counter and cooling off, somebody was helping himself to them. It's like cabbage, red cabbage. If you don't have a potato masher, this one by OXO, OXO, off of Amazon is really nice. We've had it for probably 10 years, and it just, and I see them on Amazon all the time, but it works out. It just works really well. It doesn't seem to break. I've seen a lot of potato mashers that break. Just gonna get in there. The nice thing about it, since your potatoes are in small little chunks, you shouldn't have where you've got like chunks of potato in there, but just kind of see if you can get them all mixed up. All right, so then to do the potatoes, we're going to add in the rice flour. So we've got a half a cup of the rice flour. So what you're doing is you're adding that plus either the tapioca starch or cornstarch non-GMO, and you're making it where it's going to be like we're combined up together. So it's your binders. And get in there with your potato masher or just a regular spoon. I think what I will do, just to really get in there, nothing beats hands. And for some reason, when you're mixing this up, if you notice that your potatoes get a little bit dry, then just add a little bit of water or vegetable broth, whatever you've got, and just mix it in, just like you were making like if you're making like a pastry dough or something like that. But when you get in there with your hands, you'll find the little chunks of potatoes, which is really nice. So you can just kind of just do a little flattening of them. That way you don't have chunks. And when you're feeling it, it feels, it's like you can do just like this. You can make a ball. It's almost like a pastry dough. getting there, see if I have any chunks. Okay. All right, there we go. Set that aside. This is ready to go. Looks great. All my vegetables are soft, which is just exactly what you need. Cheese sauce, because we're going to need that for our potato cake. So I've got the ingredients for that. Simple cheese sauce. But if you have one that's your favorite, I probably have ones. I've got one that you can do with oats. This one's going to be with cashews. So if you want to stay away from, nut type of cheese sauce and stuff, then you would definitely stay away from this one. But it was just super simple, easy to do. So that's why we're doing it for this recipe. I've got ones that we make with potatoes and carrots and red bell peppers. So it's all vegetables. And then I've got one that same type of, but it's got a couple little more ingredients in it. And then it has like jalapeno juice and jalapenos. So you can make that for almost like a nacho cheese dip, which is really good. When I make that up, I'll usually make a blender that's like probably even bigger than this up with it. And then I freeze off some of the packets. And then I just, when you've got, like in the baggies and stuff, you can bring it, you can just take it out of the freezer and then just keep stirring it. Sometimes you have to add a little bit of soy milk or something, or even like, vegetable broth and stuff to get it a little bit smoother. But you can actually keep using it in the freezer. And then just use it for whatever you're looking to do it, which is really great. Yeah, so you said, is there a sub for rice flour, or can I ground up white or brown rice in the Vitamix? You sure could. So you could do, the rice, the brown rice and stuff, so you don't have to go buy it if you don't want to buy a whole pack. So same thing, you do that. You could also make like an oat flour if you wanted to. So you're pretty much looking for a binder. So you've got the tapioca starch or the cornstarch in there, which is really pretty much the binder, but you want a little bit of a flour. So I would say whatever kind of ones that you have, if you have like a gluten-free flour or something, you could definitely use that. So no, that's a great question. All right, so cheese sauce. So we've got cashews, raw cashews that have been soaking. So they've been soaking overnight. So you could put them just in hot water. That's all you have to do. So I'm just gonna empty this out. Just kept them soaking up to the last minute. So raw cashews, no salt, no roasting, no any of those bad things. So that's gonna go in there. Then the other ingredients, like I said, very easy. So we're going to do a cup of vegetable broth. Just grab a, I can eyeball it, but like I said, if you don't have vegetable broth, water, that works. Okay. We got the mess. All right, then we've got, so then we've got 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. That gives you that little bit of umami and that acid, which is really good with this. Then 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. But I would say when you're doing nutritional yeast, if you like it really cheesy, add more. It's always a good thing. I will taste this, and if I think I need to add more, because it depends on it depends on the flavor of your cashews and your lemon juice and everything mixed together. Once in a while, I'll just say that you might want to add a little bit more nutritional yeast depending on how cheesy you want it. So we like it cheesy, so I may end up adding a little bit more. So same thing, I'm going to do a teaspoon of the Italian seasoning. So like I said, if you don't have it, it's just a mixture. So it's like it'd be a pinch for this would be oregano, thyme, sage, and rosemary. That gives you that wonderful smell of Italian seasonings. You could also just do, if you don't want to do, like if you don't have thyme, sage, and rosemary, you could also just do basil and some oregano. So you could do that too. Okay, in there. Then you could add the sea salt, which we're not going to add. I'll just do a little bit of black pepper. And you can see just from the nutritional yeast and everything else in there, you're already starting to get a nice kind of a cheese color. And then the last ingredient is miso. That's going to give you that nice kind of creamy flavor with it. So this is just a regular, just a brown rice, or you could just do like a yellow. It's like yellow. There's all kinds of different flavors of miso, but just a very similar miso. And that's one thing that I would always say with miso too. It can tend to be a little more on the salty side. So what I would do is, if you like salt, I would say skip the salt first, do your miso, and then taste it. And if you want to add some more salt, then go ahead and add it. But that way you're not getting it too salty. So top goes on, because we want to get this ready. And then we're going to start rolling some potato cakes. Do a taste test. So you can see it's already creamy. It's really good. Don't need it. Don't need any salt. And like I said, I like salt. So the miso and stuff is really good. The cashews, and there's enough nutritional yeast in there. But like I said, if you wanted to make it even brighter yellow, you could definitely put more nutritional yeast in there, which will give you more cheese flavor. Or you could just add a little bit of turmeric too, because turmeric also makes things yellow. But that's really good. So what I'm going to do, you don't need to heat it. The recipe does say that you can heat it. So if you're going to use it, so if you make your potato cakes and you decide at the end that you want to drizzle them on there, it's probably a lot better, of course, that, and you're like, duh, Kelly, but it's better to have it warm, the cheese sauce. When you're putting it inside of the potato cakes, you definitely don't need to make sure it's warm. Get it out of there. So I'm not going to heat it just yet. I'll heat that towards the end. And check the vegetables. Do a quick little shake. If for some reason they get a little dry, you can always just feel free just to drizzle it with some vegetable broth. That kind of gives you like a steam type of a roast. That. And I'm going to put it back in because I want a little bit more of the roasting and stuff on the potatoes and the extra carrots. So those are going to go in. And we'll add the zucchini here, just a few. Get this thing turned off. All right, so to make the potato cakes, I grabbed, because they're like, you're making like little 1/2-inch balls. So I figured, instead of just eyeballing it, that way gives me a little bit of idea. One little balls here. Also keeps you from getting potatoes in your fingernails. Nice, and it actually holds up really, really well. Let's do a few of these. So what would be your guys' favorite flavors for inside of a potato cake? curious to hear what you guys would, whoops, as I just dropped, what you would put in it. Like I said, the Mexican one would be really good with like a cheese sauce, and then have like roasted red peppers and carrots, not carrots, corn. All that would be Mexican flavors. Yummy. Mushrooms, yep. Pizza. Oh, so you would do like a tomato sauce. So you could do almost like a pizza tomato sauce, mushrooms, onions, all the stuff that you would put into a pizza. That would be really good. That'd be yummy. All right, let's just get the rest of them real quick. Peas and carrots would be really good because peas, carrots, and potatoes, really good. Or peas and corn and potatoes, good. Love that. And then you could, if you did that, then you've got the potato cake. You'd actually make like a really nice, like if you wanted to do instead of a cheese sauce, you could do a gravy over it. That would be good. Veggie pizza, yes. Yep. Mediterranean, I agree with that. Mexican, I agree. Spring vegetable in the summer or springtime, that would be really good. Okay. So it looks like, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's at a half a cup. All right, so you're going to make a well. You're going to have to kind of hold them together a little bit. That. And let's grab a spoon. We're going to grab our filling. And I may end up using the 8th one. Let's see if I can get them all in here. So what you're going to want to do is once you get everything in there, add the cheese sauce. You're going to want to make sure, and if you can't, you're going to have to use your dough to top it. Then you flatten them out. Go. I'm going to flatten this one a little bit more so I can get a little bit more filling in it. Cheese sauce. They are messy. I'll say that. Especially when you get the cheese sauce in there. It's okay if it leaks out. It's just only going to flavor your potatoes. Up there. Down a little bit more. The nice thing about having the extra, because you are going to have extra filling left over, the nice thing about it is you can put it on top, which is what we're going to do too. More vegetables. Oops, lost my spoon. There it goes again. More filling. So I'm going to probably just do 4 and get them in the oven, and then I'll do the rest later. Press the vegetables down in there. Give it a nice brown, finish your edges. How many do you think Jerry could eat? Probably all 4. Knowing him. I know he'll do at least 2 tonight because he's got the vegetables too. So at least 2. So we'll keep these off to the side because I'm going to get these in the oven, but I'll make these up and then these will be ready too as we're kind of talking. So there we go. You can actually see some of the vegetables peek through, which is really pretty. So we'll get these in the oven. We can get them browned up. I'm going to pull the vegetables out so I can get the zucchini in. Nothing better than little potatoes. Love them. When they get roasted up, or you like a rosemary and stuff, they're just like so soft and they take on the flavor of everything, which is great. Okay, so we've got zucchini. So we are going to grab one more bowl. And if you wanted smaller pieces of zucchini, just cut them in half. So you could do fourths instead of quarter. All right, so we got that in there. So we've got a little bit more vegetable broth as a drizzle. And then you could season it with salt if you wanted to. I'm just going to do a little bit of black pepper. And the one thing you could do with this recipe, if you wanted to make it like even easier, you could just add all the vegetables together, all the spices together, and then just get it in the oven if you would like to. That makes it easy. All right, so let me grab this to the side for a minute. I'll come back and make them for those. Quick stir. I don't know about you guys, but anything roasted vegetables, my favorite. I love them. All right, zucchini's gonna go in. Then you're gonna add the garlic. The reason why you're adding it towards the very end is then you don't get that really kind of like a over baked or over roasted garlic. I don't know if you've ever had sometimes in stuff where you get into almost like a spaghetti dish, like a capellini pomodoro, and then they put a lot of the garlic in, and then it almost is like a burn. That's because your garlic is burnt. Press the garlic out. And we're going to get this in the oven. This way your zucchini is going to be nice al dente, but not over soft, which is great. A few more of these ready. I like that. How many do you think Jerry can eat? A lot. But like I said, the good thing is if I do have leftovers, they're pretty much gone the next day. Mushroom in there. Oops. Cheese sauce. Number 2. Mushrooms there. I have to just play with this one since I don't really have that much potato left. It'll work. All right. Pick up the mushroom so I don't slide on it. Those 3 will be for later. So those will be lunch tomorrow for Jerry. So nice and pretty. All ready to go. Right. I'm going to heat up the cheese sauce. They sure could. So you're asking, so you can actually, so you can either eat them cold or you could eat them warm, whichever you'd like to do. So you could, if you don't cook them all, so you could put some in like a container or something like that. You could just leave them and then bake them in the next day. You could put them in an air fryer. That would be another easy way to do it. Which we have an air fryer, but you could definitely do that, or you could just do cold. I mean, if you like, like cold mashed potatoes and vegetables and stuff, all good for it. So microwave, air fryer, oven, whatever you would like to do, or cold. Got potatoes everywhere. I'm going to bring my induction burner over. Do low. And watch your when you're doing the cheese sauce, you want to watch it, because what'll end up happening is if you start I was looking for my whisk, there it is. If you start cooking it too fast and stuff, it'll actually start like almost like hardening up a little bit and get really dry. So you just want to keep it on just a like a really low, and then when it gets to where it's a warm, kind of a warm state with whisking it, then you can turn it off. But yeah, the cheese sauce that's really good. Nice and cheesy and easy, which is what I like. We should call it that. We should call it an easy cheesy sauce. Starting to firm up. You can see this is a really nice cheese sauce. Turmeric. A little bit more. Just make it a little more yellow. Oh. Nice cheese sauce. So what are you guys gonna do for Easter, since that's coming up this weekend? Does not, if you're anything like me, does not feel like Easter. I don't know why. It's just seems like another day, but I know it's a holiday that a lot of people celebrate. So tell me what you're gonna be eating for Easter. I have not even thought about what Jerry and I are gonna do. I'd love to see some inspirational ideas. We might even do something like something completely unconventional, like maybe like the Vietnamese tacos that I've done before, and maybe some Mexican rice or something. I don't know. No inspirational ideas. There we go. Going to my friend's house and having small plates and snacks. I'm going to try some plant-based foods on it. Love that. So almost like tapas. So like little snacks, and I love anything like that. Like when you go to like a tapas restaurant and they get, you've got different things that you can try and everybody can kind of try together. That's fun. Love that idea. There's tons of like plant-based, like different like small plates and snacks and things that people don't even know that are plant-based. So if you get somebody that's like, ooh, I don't want to do plant-based, yeah, always good. Love that. I know like sometimes like on people do like the regular scallop potatoes and hams and those kind of things usually for Easter. But you could just completely go off script and do a great lasagna or some great pasta, like a hummus pasta and a great big salad. I mean, there's just so many different things that you can do. You can actually do like a plant-based meatloaf and like scalloped potatoes or roasted rosemary potatoes or any of those kind of things. There's so many good things that you can do. It kind of depends on your kind of like your craving or the flavor of the day of what you can do for Easter. And even if you go to friends' houses and stuff and they're having hams and those kind of things, then just like I love air fried potato wedges with dips. Yeah, so that's even something like that you could do with like they can do the ham and stuff, but you could have the wedges, and you could have the roasted vegetables and the salads and things, and you have just as much fun and it's just as good. Don't need to do the hams or the turkeys or whatever else. I know some people do roast, some people do what am I trying? Not filet mignon, but the I'm trying to think what it is. You can see I've been away from meat for so long. It's usually have it with like what someone trying to say, well, you have it with horseradish, prime rib. Hey, took me a minute to think about that was. I was thinking about making butternut squash lasagna and then of course carrot cake for dessert. Sounds good. Yeah. I like that. I like all the suggestions for the recipes. Like I said, need inspiration. Butternut squash lasagna. I actually had I was just in Baltimore last week and they had a butternut squash bucatini. Little dry. I would have made like a sauce with it, like maybe like the butternut squash and you put it in the blender and make a real creamy sauce with it. But it was good. It had that. Pretty much it was just butternut squash, a little bit of spinach. I'm trying to remember, spinach, bucatini. And like I said, I would love to have a little bit more of like a plant-based cream sauce, but not sure if the chef had anything to make it something like that. And then they had apple slices, pecans, a little bit of red onion, and spinach salad. It had like a vinaigrette, like a light vinaigrette over it, which was really good. They had like that recipe the restaurant we went to in Baltimore had about 5 or 6 different vegan. It's like a separate vegan recipe or menu and stuff, which was really nice. So salads and a couple different. They had a couple zucchini boats, which I really wanted, but they said that the chef didn't order the zucchini or something like that, and I was like, oh, that's what I really wanted with the zucchini boats. Vegan manicotti. Okay, so yeah, so the cheese sauce that we made tonight would be good for a pasta sauce. So you could probably, what I would do is I would cut back on the nutritional yeast right away, and then you could put in the roasted butternut squash or something like that in here, and make it like a butternut squash type of a sauce. Then you could add a little bit of the nutritional yeast if you wanted a little bit cheesy, but you could add like basil, so you could make it like basil and butternut squash, which is really good together. So yes, very simple, very easy to do. And then what you could do is just add like a little bit more vegetable broth or a little bit of plant-based milk just to make it a little bit even creamier. So, it's not real thick, but if you wanted it a little bit thinner and stuff, especially if you're putting over like a bucatini or some type of pasta, just put a little bit of moisture in it and stuff and just make it a little bit thinner, which would be really good. But I would flavor it with your whatever you're making. So if you're making like butternut squash or you're doing like a pumpkin or something like that, blend some of that up in here and then add your nutritional yeast. Love that. Vegan manicotti filled with spinach, roasted leek, and asparagus with spring quinoa salad. Okay, Shirley, we're all coming to your house. That sounds really good. Love that. Yeah, vegan manicotti. Yeah, I haven't thought about manicotti for a long time, so I love that. Spinach, roasted leek, and asparagus. Yeah, anything with asparagus, good. Love that. What about adding plant-based cheese? Yes, you could do that. You could add plant-based cheeses. There's, there's the Daya, there's all kinds of different ones out there. So, we always say with the cheeses, because they do have a lot of them and stuff will have like oils and things like that in them, because that's how they make them really creamy. You don't want to kind of err on the side of if you're really trying to stay away from oil. Maybe it's that one-time thing that you do type of thing, but yeah, you could definitely do that. There's so many of those out there. You can also make your own. You can also just do, you can do a plant-based cheese with cashews and make it where it's like thicker, and you can put like dollops on your like a pizza. Like if you did a really like a spring pizza or something like that, you could do that too. We've done that before too, which is really good. Or instead of the tomato sauce, you put like the cheese sauce on the bottom. Okay, let's look at the brown. Where is the stir? Said you just want to get your zucchini al dente. You don't want it really soft because then otherwise it just turns to mush. So you want to have nice pieces. So we'll try one. There's one of our small ones. But I'd say maybe just a couple more minutes and we're done. And then a few minutes on that. Let's see how hot this is getting. So I might just turn it off. I definitely don't want it boiling. Yep, still needs a little ways to go. Yeah, we just bought a new air fryer. I'll pull it over a little bit. So we had one of the original ones. So it's the kind of the big black and silver right back here. We had one of the original ones like when they first came out and didn't like it because you definitely had to use oil and stuff to be able to cook in it. So we actually saw it advertised on Instant Pot has an air fryer. So we got this one, which is really nice. So it actually does air fries, roast, bakes, reheat, broil, dehydrate. So, very nice. Cooks French fries up. So we'll do French fries and all kinds of different things. I think that's probably the biggest use of it is Jerry loves French fries. So we tend to put a lot of French fries in there. And all I do with French fries is just bake up some potatoes and then slice, let them cool, slice, and then put the slices inside the air fryer and then roast them up, which is really good. Brand was that again? So Instant Pot. So you're the ones that makes all the pressure cookers. Instant Pot has 2 or 3 different types of air fryers now, and they actually have quite a few different other products, which I had no idea. Got it on Amazon, so not expensive. It's just the same price as pretty much all the rest of the air fryers that are out there. So just pull out the paper really quick, but I'll show you. They're pretty big. What I do is instead of like everything getting stuck to it, then I just put, so you can tell the parchment paper, I just put it in there and then I put the French fries or whatever else on top of that. So it keeps it for easier cleaning. But actually it's pretty big. And I like this one because it has the front where, so when the lights come on and stuff, you can actually see it and see what you're cooking and how brown things are getting. But it's actually a really nice one. And it's not, they do have ones that are like your kind of like the easy bake ovens and those type of things. So you can get cut all the different types with that. This is the one I liked. That's ready. Let's get the whoop. Of course, dirties the plate. Lots of roasted vegetables tonight. Yum. The other thing you can do with parchment paper. What's that? Garlic. That's just for pictures. It's home and it's just Jerry and I. I don't do all that. So I have pea shoots. I've actually went at Whole Foods and stuff. They had pea shoots and sunflower. The sunflower, if you've never had them, are delicious. That was the instant, if you heard that, that's the Instant Pot. That thing talks to you about, it's like, hey, I'm heating up, I'm done preheating. Hey, I'm halfway through the cooking cycle. So if you've got something in there you want to flip, it talks to you and kind of sings to you the whole entire time, which is really cute. So these on the side. You don't have to grab pea shoots. You could actually use, if you wanted to, you could use, parsley, whatever you have. Just doing a couple. But the pea shoots and the sunflower shoots looked so good that I bought some. All right, let's get. Hey, kid. Broiled for just a second. They're done, but they're not quite all the way browned yet. So I'll do that really quick. Just do a little bit of crust on the top. But here is, oops, here is the roasted vegetables. So we have zucchini, little baby potatoes, and carrots. And of course, you've got the Italian seasoning blend, and then you have garlic. So all good flavors. If you wanted to, you could always just squeeze a lemon over it, which would be really good. So to kind of give you a little bit more of that acid, but these are truthfully good just the way they are. And the top and stuff is pea shoots, which I like. They're pretty. Put brown on the top. Yeah, they are. Like I said, any vegetables. And then, the nice thing about this too is you've got, like I said, this is a base recipe. So you could just do exactly this, but then put in, right at the very end, you could put in broccoli, you could put in cauliflower. You got all kinds of other roasted root vegetables and stuff that you could do. So you just turnips, etc. You could do something like that for, Easter, just a regular day. These are great this way. You could actually, if you have some of the cheese sauce, you could drizzle some of the cheese sauce tomorrow on it. On the potatoes would be really good. If you like the cheese sauce, make it up. Make up a double, triple batch. And then I would put it like in a mason jar with a plastic top and stuff. And then I bet all week long and stuff that you would find many ways, like over asparagus, like a broiled asparagus, you'd find many ways to use it. Just something fun, something that, that's the sauces and stuff really help. I want to do this here in a second, but the sauces really help and stuff, just like spice things up, which I really like. Okay, they're not brown, but I want to get this on the plate. I need to be able to show this to you so you guys can go to different things you want to do in your life. you wanted to, you could put it in a pan really quick and brown them up a little bit more. Yep. That's why I'm not sad that we have extra vegetables. And then we do a little bit of cheese sauce and we are set. But Shirley, prepare a lot because I think we're all coming over to your house for Easter. Right. So there we have the roasted, so basically roasted vegetables, so zucchini, carrots, and potatoes with an Italian seasoning and garlic. Those are all roasted up together. And these are our potato cakes that have mushrooms and red bell peppers and onions and zucchini and everything else with a really easy cheesy sauce. I had to think about how to say that. So these are ready to go. Once you cut in them, you've got the cheese sauce in the middle plus the vegetables, and then you have the extra vegetables on top. So guess what time it is? It's dinner. This is Jerry's. I probably will have a sandwich. No, I'm kidding. So, he'll eat probably like half of this and all of this. So not a problem, which is good. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you here in April. Have a happy Easter, very much so. Enjoy it with your family and friends. And it sounds like you guys are doing some really cool things, which I love. So I will talk to you soon. Love you guys. Have a great Easter. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.